So I'll just give you some of the pH, okay, of some solution. I will give you the pH. The pH of a concentrated hydrochloric acid. What is the pH of a concentrated hydrochloric acid? Hydrochloric acid. pH of the hydrochloric acid. pH of the hydrochloric acid, concentrated hydrochloric acid, and the pH of dilute hydrochloric acid.
Uh-huh.
pH of concentrated hydrochloric acid and the pH of dilute hydrochloric acid. The pH of concentrated hydrochloric acid is 0 and the pH of dilute hydrochloric acid is 1.2. Or we can say the 1.0, 1.0, 1.0. And the third one is what? Gastric juice. Gastric juice. The pH of gastric juice. What is it by gastric juice? The gastric juice nothing but what? The digestive juices in the stomach. Okay. The digestive juice in the stomach. So what is the pH of that? The pH of that gastric juice is
1.2.
1.2. 1.2. 1.2. Gastric juice is 1.2. Similarly, we have lemon juice. What is the lemon juice? The pH of the lemon juice. The pH of the lemon juice is 2.2. 2.2. Then what is the pH of the vinegar? Vinegar. pH of the vinegar. The pH of the vinegar is 4.0, means 4. pH of the vinegar is 4. Next one, what is the pH of the milk? Milk solution. What is the pH of the milk? The milk is 6.5. Milk is 6.5. Pure water. What is the pH of the pure water? The pure water. The pH of the pure water is 7. Okay, and some book they will give 7.4. So 7 or 7.4, both you can remember. And the blood. What is the pH of the blood? The pH of the blood is 7.4. So you know the baking soda. Baking soda. Baking soda. pH. What is the pH of the baking soda? That is the 8.5. Milk of magnesia. Milk of magnesia. pH of the milk of magnesia is 10. Milk of magnesia is 10. Next one, what is the pH of dilute sodium hydroxide? Dilute sodium hydroxide. Dilute sodium hydroxide is pH is equal to 13 and the concentrated sodium hydroxide. Concentrated sodium hydroxide. What is the concentrated sodium hydroxide pH? That is always 14. Concentrated question based on the milk. Okay, the fresh milk has a pH of 6. Fresh milk has a pH of 6. When it changes, when it changes into curd, when it changes into curd, will its pH value increases or decreases? Why? Okay, so this is the question. Fresh milk has a pH of 6. When it changes into curd, whether the pH will be increases or decreases, it means the pH of milk 6, it is become more than 6 or it become less than 6. That answer you have to, I'll tell you, see what is that answer will come. See, fresh milk has a pH of 6. Okay, fresh milk has a pH of 6. When it changes to curd, you know the curd having the lactic acid. Okay, curd produce lactic acid. So acid nothing but what? Its value should be decreases because the acid having the pH is less than 7. Obviously, the milk pH already 6. So again, if the acid is increases, when the acid increases, then the pH will be decreases. When the acid increases, the pH will be decreases. Okay. So because of that reason, we can say the pH of the milk will be decreases because of the acid is increases. Okay. Because the acid is increases. The pH value decreases. pH value decreases when milk changes to the curd. When milk changes to curd. Okay, since curd contain, since the curd contain what? Since the curd contain lactic acid and hence the pH value decreases. pH value decreases. Okay, so here is the answer for this. Fresh milk has a pH of 6. When it changes into the curd, its pH value decreases because of the curd contain the lactic acid, which decrease the pH value. So similarly, see the one more question is that asked based on that. Okay, when a solution becomes more acidic, when the solution is become more acidic, okay, does the pH get higher or lower? Higher or lower? So this question is completely depend upon this one. See, just now we explained, no? Those who understood this, they can give answer for this. So if the solution is more acidic, then its pH will be lower. Okay. When the solution become more acidic, when a solution become more acidic, when a solution becomes more acidic, then pH will be lower. The pH gets lower. pH get lowers. What are the importance of pH in everyday life? In everyday life, what are the importance of pH in our everyday life? Importance of pH in our everyday life. Okay, so here the first we will going to learn about the pH in our digestive system. Okay, pH in our digestive system. So you know that during digestion or during indigestion, the stomach produce acid. What acid produced by the stomach? Can you say?
hydrochloric acid.
HCl.
HCl. HCl.
Hydrochloric acid, correct answer. Okay, our stomach produces hydrochloric acid of pH about, what is the pH is about 1.4, is the pH about 1.4. During indigestion, okay, the stomach produce too much acid. If the stomach produce too much acid, then there is a pain and irritation in your stomach. Okay, so during indigestion, obviously hydrochloric acid will be produced, but sometimes the acid produce too much, so which will causes the pain and irritation in your stomach. Then how you will get the relief from the pain and irritation because of the too
Taking
much
this.
acid?
By
Antacids.
taking baking
By
soda.
taking antacid.
By taking the antacid. Which antacid you will take?
Milk of magnesia.
Of magnesium.
Milk of
Yeah.
magnesia and or
Baking soda.
baking soda. Correct answer C. Exactly correct. So our stomach produces hydrochloric acid pH about 1.4. So what happened now during indigestion? During indigestion, okay, during indigestion, the stomach produces too much acid. Too much acid. Okay, this too much acid causes pain. Okay, during indigestion, the stomach produces too much acid, causes pain and irritation. Pain and irritation. So how you can get the relief from the pain and irritation? We can get the pain relief from the pain and irritation by taking the antacid. Okay, so to get rid of this pain, people will use what the people will use. The people will use the bases. What are the bases? The people use the bases are called antacids. Okay, antacid. So antacid will be neutralize the excess acid produced in the stomach, and the person will get the relief from the pain. Okay, this antacid react with excess acid in the stomach and neutralize it. That is very important. This antacid react with excess acid in the stomach to neutralize in the stomach and neutralize it okay, neutralize it. Antacid react with excess acid in the stomach and neutralize it. So two common antacid we are using. The two common antacid are the first one, that is called a baking soda. What is the another name of baking soda? Sodium
Sodium bicarbonate.
hydrogen carbonate. Okay.
Carbonate.
So that is the formula NaHCO3. NaHCO3. And we will use the milk of magnesia. Milk of magnesia. This is called, what is another name for this milk of magnesia?
Magnesium hydroxide.
Magnesium hydroxide, exactly correct. Magnesium hydroxide, and the formula is MgOH taken twice. Okay. So here about the pH in our digestive system. So our stomach produces hydrochloric acid. What is the pH? About 1.4. During indigestion, the acid, the too much acid produces, which is causes the pain and irritation in the stomach. To get the relief from the pain and irritation, we have to use the bases called antacid. Okay, this antacid react with the excess acid and neutralize it. And the two common antacid we are using, that is that sodium hydrogen carbonate, that is called baking soda, and the milk of magnesia, that is called magnesium hydroxide. So that is what, so what is the question they will ask in your exam based on that? Which acid is produced in our stomach? And what happens if there is an excess acid in the stomach? And how can its effect be cured? Like this question they will ask. So the next second point about the pH change as the cause of tooth decay. Tooth decay. So see here, pH change as the cause of the tooth decay. What is this tooth decay? Decay is nothing but the tooth enamel is corroded. Okay. Tooth decay, nothing but what? Tooth decay. Nothing but what? Decay is nothing but what? Corroded. Corroded. Corroded means the tooth enamel is become rusted. Tooth enamel. Okay, where your teeth is placed. That is called tooth enamel. Okay, this tooth enamel, if it is corroded, then it is called what? Tooth decay. And this tooth decay will start if the too much acid produced in your mouth, or we can say that the pH of the mouth, if it is the pH of the mouth is less than 5.5, if the pH of the mouth is less than 5.5, then the tooth decay will start. The tooth decay nothing but there is a corrosion of the tooth enamel. Okay, there is a corrosion of the tooth enamel. So tooth enamel is you know that tooth enamel is the one of the hardest substance in our body. Okay, which is made up of water, is made up of what? Calcium phosphate. Okay, so tooth decay. So when the tooth decay will start, the tooth decay will start. Tooth decay start when the pH of the mouth. Can you say when the pH of the mouth is
Less than 5.5.
less than 5.5? Correct. The tooth decay will start when the pH of the mouth is less than 5.5, or we can say lower than 5.5. Lower than 5.5. pH of the mouth is lower than 5.5. Lower than 5.5. If the pH of the mouth is what you can pH of the mouth is lower than 5.5, then the tooth decay will start. Okay, so that is what means tooth enamel. So you know that tooth enamel is made up of what? Tooth enamel is made up of calcium phosphate. Calcium phosphate, and this is the one of the hardest substance in our body. Calcium phosphate is the hardest substance. Calcium phosphate is the hardest substance in the body. Okay, which cannot be dissolved by the water. It does not dissolve in water. Tooth enamel is made up of calcium phosphate, which is the hardest substance in the body. It does not dissolve in water, but is corroded. Okay, it is does not dissolve in water, but it is corroded. Corroded possible. Okay, it does not dissolve. It does not dissolve in water. It does not dissolve in water, but it is corroded. Okay, but is corroded, and it is corroded nothing but that is called what? Tooth decay. When the tooth enamel is corroded, that is called what? Tooth decay. Nothing but your tooth enamel is going to spoil. Okay, then you will get more pain in your mouth because of this tooth enamel. When the tooth enamel is corroded, nothing but tooth decay is started, means it is spoiling your tooth enamel. Okay, which will be giving you more pain in your mouth. Okay, this pH of the mouth, this will be happen when the pH of the mouth is lower than 5.5. Okay, lower than 5.5. And why this is happen, it depend upon our habit of eating food. Okay, suppose if you are eating the food, after eating the food, if you are not doing the brushing or you are not cleaning your mouth, then there is a chances of tooth decay will start. So what happen now? So this is happen mainly if you are eating the sugar food, okay, like the food which contain the sugar, like example chocolate, sweets, ice creams, okay, while eating that, okay, so this bacteria, the bacteria which is present in our mouth, which break the sugar and to form lactic acid. Okay, so remember that the bacteria which is present in our mouth, which is break down the sugar, which break down the sugar to form acid, that is called lactic acid, and this acid lower the pH of our mouth, and it will start the corrode the tooth enamel, or we can say it tooth decay will start. So tooth decay will start only if there is a acid, more acid produced in your mouth, and this acid produce more in mouth because of the bacteria will be break down the sugar to form lactic acid. So this acid will corrode your tooth enamel. This acid will corrode the tooth enamel. So that is why we should avoid, or how you can prevent this. How you can prevent this? So you can prevent this tooth decay while if cleaning the mouth after eating the food, or we have to reduce the eating the sugary items such as sweet, ice cream, chocolates, etc., etc. Okay, so that is the reason. So what is the third point I can write? How the tooth decay will start? So tooth decay will start when we eat food. When we eat the food containing sugar. Okay, when we eat food containing sugar, okay, then what will happen? Then the bacteria present, then the bacteria present in our mouth, bacteria present in our mouth, okay, which is break down, which is break down the sugar, which is break down the sugar, which is break down the sugar to form, what they will form, this break down the sugar to form
Lactic acid.
Lactic acid.
lactic acid will form here. So acid is produced now in your mouth. So this acid lower the pH. This acid, you know, whenever too much acid produced, whenever too much acid, whatever the pH, whether pH will be lower or higher,
Lower.
Lower.
lower, obviously, when the pH, when the too much acid, if the too much acid produced, then it will be the pH will become what? Lower. So that is why this acid lower the pH of the mouth, lower the pH in the mouth. Okay, pH in the mouth. And what will happen? And corrode the tooth enamel. So tooth decay will start when we eat food containing the sugar, okay, and which then the bacteria present in our mouth, which is break down the sugar to form lactic acid. So that is why they always used to say that if you want to eat the sugar items in the night time, so after eating you can go for brushing. Okay, if you will go for brushing, then we can able to protect our tooth enamel. If you will not do regularly brushing your teeth, then there will be harm to your tooth enamel. Okay, so now the next question what they'll ask is that what is the prevention? To prevent the tooth decay, what we have to do?
We should instead, sir, if not brushing, we should clean our mouth.
Okay, how to prevent tooth decay? And only 1 point, 2 point you said?
So we should reduce eating of sweets.
That is correct. Good. That is 3 points you have to write. Okay. So here, the best way to prevent the tooth decay is to clean. Clean the mouth thoroughly. Okay. Clean the mouth thoroughly after eating food. After eating food. And what is that? We should eat. We should eat. What we have to eat? We have to eat less sugary food. Okay. Less sugary food such as sweets, ice creams, toffees, chocolates, etc. etc. Okay. We should eat less sugary food such as sweet, ice cream, toffees, candy, chocolate, etc. Brushing teeth by using toothpaste. Why we have to use the toothpaste? Can you say?
Because it contains base.
Yes,
It is base.
it is a base. Toothpaste is a base. And the mouth, in the mouth, we have a lot of acid present. So the base will react with acid. So what will happen? Neutralization reaction will be takes place. So that is why we have to brush our teeth by using the toothpaste. Let us learn about the pH. The pH of the soil. Okay, the pH of the soil and the plant growth. So the pH of the soil is also very important. Okay, before growing any crop or plant, we have to test the soil. Okay, we have to test the soil, pH of the soil. pH of the soil and plant growth. So before growing any crop, we have to test the soil, whether the soil is acidic, basic, or neutral. That we have to check. Okay, so this is very important to testing the soil. It nothing but to find out the what is the pH of the soil. For testing the soil, what we have to do, we have to take the 2 gram of soil, okay, and add 5 ml of water in it. 2 gram of soil and take 5 ml of water in it and mix correctly and filter this solution. What we have to do, you have to go for filter this solution. Okay, so that whatever the impurities are present in the soil, all will be removed and you have now the soil solution. Now this soil solution, where we have to put, you have to put in the universal indicator. Okay, universal indicator. So this universal indicator will show you the color of the solution, like red color, yellow color, green color, blue color, violet color. Okay, based on the color will produce in the universal indicator, you can able to use the pH scale for finding water. Okay, soil solution, when you will put on the universal indicator will show you the color. Okay, that color we have to match with the pH scale. So pH scale will show you the value, pH value of the soil. So based on that, we can come to know that the soil is acidic or basic or neutral. Suppose the pH value is equal to 7, then what is that soil? Whether it is acidic, basic, or neutral?
Neutral.
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 The, if the scale is showing the pH is equal to 4, then what will be the soil?
Acidic.
Weakly
Acidic,
acidic.
acidic soil. If the pH is equal to 10, then what is the soil? So
Basic.
Basic.
yeah. So that before growing any crop, we have to test the soil or we have to find out the pH of the soil, whether the soil is neutral, acidic, or basic. Okay, that is the simple one tested. I have given that how to test the soil, how to find the pH of the soil. So remember that the pH of the soil, if the pH of the soil is 7 or close to 7, if the pH of the soil is close to 7, okay, then the plant grow very nice, or we can say the plant grow best. The plant grow best when the pH of the soil is close to 7. Okay, so that is, you have to remember, most of the plant grow. the most of the plant grow best when the pH, of the soil, when the pH of the soil is close to what? When the pH of the soil is close to
7.
7, close to 7. The pH of the soil is close to 7. Okay, that is means what? pH of the soil is close to 7, then the plant will grow best. Okay, the plant will grow best. Suppose now if the soil is too acidic, okay, if the soil is too acidic, if the soil is too acidic, nothing but pH will be like 4, okay, the pH of the soil is 4, then we can say the soil is too acidic, or we can say too basic, nothing but like a 10 or 10.3 or 10.5. Okay, so if the soil is too acidic or too basic, then what about the plant? The plant will grow or not? Okay, if the plant will grow very, very badly. Okay, very badly the plant will grow, or they do not grow at all. Sometimes they will do not grow at all. So that will happen. See, then will be your loss, the farmer loss. The farmer get lost if the farmer will not find the pH of the soil before growing any crop. So every farmer will find the pH of the soil before planting any crop. Okay, so why it is necessary to check whether the soil is acidic or basic or neutral? The every farmer, the soil must having the pH should be equal to 7, then only the crop or plant will be grow very, very best. Okay, so always every farmer have to test the soil to find the pH of the soil. Okay, so now suppose now if the soil is too acidic, okay, if the soil is too acidic, then what the farmer should do? Okay, we said the soil is too acidic, then the plant will grow very badly or do not grow at all. So suppose now if the soil is too acidic, then what the farmer should do? Okay, he cannot able to go to the any other field because he has own field. So if the soil is too acidic, then what the farmer will do here?
He will treat with base.
It treated with base, exactly correct. So he will treat with base. Why the farmer will treat with base? Because the soil is,
Neutralize the effect of acid.
yes, exactly correct. Because the soil is acidic. When the soil is acidic, to make it to increase the pH of the soil, then the farmer should use the base. So base plus acid will neutralize the soil, which is neutralize the soil, or we can say which will bring the pH of the soil close to 7. Okay, will the base, while adding the base, will bring the pH of the soil close to 7. Because of that reason, we have to use the base. So what base you will use here?
The chalk powder.
Chalk powder. What chalk powder? What is the name of the chalk powder? Okay, so chalk we have to use. Chalk nothing but what? Calcium carbonate. Okay, this is the base. Okay, this is the base, calcium carbon, or you can use calcium oxide, or you can use calcium hydroxide. So these are the bases we have to use to neutralize the acidic soil. Okay, so we can write now, if the soil, this is the important point, if the soil is too acidic, if the soil is too acidic, okay, if the soil is too acidic, okay, what do you mean by acidic? Acidic means what?
Lower pH.
Having a lower pH, having a lower pH, okay, having lower pH, then what we have to do? Then we have to treat. Then it is treated with, base. What kind of bases? It is treated with material like calcium oxide. It is also called a quicklime. Or we can write calcium hydroxide. Calcium hydroxide. What is the name of this calcium hydroxide? Another name, calcium hydroxide is also called slag lime. Or we can use calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate. This is what chalk. Okay. So all these materials are base. Okay. They are the base. What we have to do when the soil is too basic or too alkaline? If the soil is too alkaline, then what we have to add? If the soil is too alkaline,
Acids.
Acids.
if the soil is too alkaline, then what you have to, how you have to treat the soil to neutralize the alkalinity? Acid, you said, acid you have to add, but what acid you will add here? If the soil is too
Fertilizers and manure.
that is correct answer. Fertilizers. We have to add fertilizer. You have already heard about this. The farmer always use the fertilizers. When they will use the fertilizers, when the soil is too alkaline. Okay. The fertilizer or manure we have to use. We have to treat the soil by using fertilizer or manure when the soil is too alkaline. So these are the acidic product. These are the acidic product which is neutralize the base. Okay, so when the soil is too alkaline, okay, to reduce the alkalinity, then its alkalinity can be reduced by, how can you reduce the alkalinity of this soil? By adding organic matters. Organic matter means what? Organic matter, or we can say what? Manure. Okay. Or what you have to add?
Fertilizers.
Fertilizers, correct. Or you can add fertilizers. Fertilizers. Which contain, what they contain? Which contain
Acids.
Acid.
acidic materials. Okay, which contain acidic materials. If the soil is too alkaline, then its alkalinity can be reduced by adding organic matter or fertilizer which contain acidic materials. The plant will grow best. When the pH of the soil is close to 7. And if the soil is too acidic or too basic, then the plant will grow very badly, or we can say they will do not grow at all. Okay. So if the soil is too acidic, then we are treated with calcium oxide, calcium hydroxide, or calcium carbonate, so that it neutralizes the two acid. So these all are the base. Okay. Now if the soil is too alkaline, then to reduce the alkalinity, we can use manure or fertilizer which contain what? Acidic materials. So which is neutralize the acid, which is neutralize the base present in the soil. Now, in the exam, what question they will ask based on this topic? Okay, under what condition do you think that farmer would treat the soil of his field with quicklime, with the slack lime, and with the chalk? Under what condition? Under what condition the farmer will treat the soil by using quicklime, slackline, and chalk? So what is the condition they are asking? In which condition of the soil that farmer will treat the soil by using quicklime, slackline, and chalk? Condition means what? Whether soil is acidic, or soil is neutral, or soil is basic. Or
Too
the
acidic.
When it is too
When the
acidic.
soil is too acidic.
So the farmer is treating the soil with the quicklime, slackline, and chalk when the soil is too acidic. Exactly correct. Now, what another question they can ask in the exam? What is that? What is the question? The soil. The soil is highly acidic. The soil is highly acidic. Okay. They're asking that if the soil is highly acidic, name two materials. Name two material which can be added to this soil to reduce its acidity. The soil is too, we can say the soil is highly acidic. Name the two material which can be added to the soil to reduce its acidity. So which are the two materials we have to add to reduce the acidity? Which are the two materials we have to
Quicklime,
add?
slake lime.
Which are the two materials we have to add so that its acidity will be reduced? So which are the two materials you will add to reduce the acidity? Quicklime, slackline. Okay. So if the soil is highly acidic, then we have to use the base. What base? Such as quicklime,
Quicklime.
slackline, and chalk.
Chalk.
Anyone you can use, anyone. Farhat,